Greetings from Southern Yankee Homestead. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some work that I've been putting off. And now we got to do some work that wasn't necessarily intended, but it has to be done. So here we are. This is my 2016 Bremar hydraulic dump trailer. I bought this when I was still in business, and she's got a lot of miles on her. Easily 50,000 miles. I've had like 6 sets of tires on it. Sets, not 6 tires, 6 sets of tires. I've gone through. This was my primary trailer when I was running my business. But one of the reasons why I got to get into it, if you look at this hub right here, okay, can't really tell right now, but we'll get into it at some point. That tire is wobbly. Also, going down the road, it bounces something fierce. So might have a blown belt or a blown radial on the tire, but odds are that bearing shot. So we're gonna have to get into that. But before we get into that, I'm gonna power wash this because that's not the only thing. If you notice here, hopefully you can see, because my back screen does not look very appealing right now. The weld is broke. It's broke here. It's broke here. That one hasn't broke. It's broken here very badly. And it's broken here. Wasn't a horrible weld job, but wasn't the best either. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and power wash all this, and hopefully this video comes out, because like I said, the back of my screen is really interesting right now. So stick around. Let's see what kind of a mess we can get off this. Side note, when I was backing this in here, I had a little issue. Truck drove right out, but apparently I've got some yard work I've got to do. Give you an idea of how deep this is. It's just below my knee. But we got the trailer all power washed, and as you can see, as we were power washing, it's not going to be a mere weld job. I'm going to have to go at this with a wire wheel. and see what we can pull out of it. I mean, it's, as you can see by the ground, all that black stuff, yeah, that's powder coating, just everywhere, blown off. And I'm sure there'll be much more of it. See how it lovely on this side, isn't it? This is why I'm contemplating naming this video "Why I'll Never Buy a Powder Coated Trailer Again." And you can see right there, well, maybe you can, let's see, yeah, see right along there, it's all bubbling out. Yeah. Lovely, yay. Yay. So let me go ahead and put this down, and we're going to pull this out and see if I can avoid that big hole up front. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit more of an extensive overhaul than I thought. I got looking. This wheel's going to have to come off, as well as this brake drum, because we need a new stud slash nut. So we know we got one of those we're going to have to do. And then on this side, we got all our studs. But this is the tire in question. Yeah, I don't think it should be making noise like that. We'll find out more once we get the tire off. It could be a bad wheel bearing, or it might even be, oops, get you back in focus here. Could be a bad wheel bearing, or it could also be, like I said, might have blown a radial on a tire. We won't know until we get it off. So let's go ahead and get started. That's not good. Always. What I'll do is when I go up to the trailer store, I'll have the balance checked on this. So if you look, let me stand it up straight here. See how it's round there? Well, if we go, whoop, what was it? See right there, it's got a slant, and then it flattens out here. So I think right about in here, the radial is blown, which is basically the steel belt inside the tire. So, yep, we'll get that checked out. I'll be able to tell as soon as I put it on a wheel balancer. One good love tap, and or two, and you've driven out the stud. There you go. Now I can just take this right in with my bearing cap. All right, well, got back, just did a lot of shopping. Got parts cleaner, tire, let's see here, welder, all my welding stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get the tires back on the trailer. And then we're going to probably look at scuffing up some of these rust spots and refinishing them, as well as pulling out some of this lovely powder coating that is just falling off everywhere. Probably a wire brush in there somewhere too. So let me get things set up and we'll go from there. I just cleaned this all off with brake clean. I was allowing it to dry some before I put the wheel back on. I also put the retainer in the magnet under here. And I was in the process of doing some adjustments to the brakes. Loosen that back up a hair. So, good. A little resistance, not horrible. So, when I went to the tire store and had them take a look at the tire, it took them all 30 seconds to determine the tire was in fact bad, but the radial hadn't blown out. The tread was separating from the tire, or from the laminate. So these are, because this is the same type tire. What is this? This is, I got it listed on here somewhere. So these are a 5-ply tire, 2 polyester, 2 steel, 1 nylon on the tread. And somewhere within that makeup, I don't know where, he don't know where, and unless we cut the tire in half, we're not going to find out where. The tread itself, or a couple of the belts, were pulling away from the core construction. So it hadn't blown a belt in the tire, or a radial, if you prefer that terminology, but it was on its way out. If I continue to run it, odds are I would have blown the tread completely off, and in turn you would have been able to see the complete radial. Also, for reference, the new tire I put on the back, not the front. The reason is, on the other side, my new tire is on the back. That's just because when I lost the last tire, I was at the point that I wasn't doing the business anymore, so I wasn't replacing 2 tires at a time. And the other tire, I had tread separation on that one too, and that was this stupid style, this, I'm not going to mention the name. But since I wasn't working the business anymore, I wasn't going to buy 2 new tires and throw the spare on here. I was going to keep the spare I had and just replace the tire that I needed. Well, now I've had more tread separation, I've got 2 new tires. Also, when I was running my business, anytime I would change out the tires, I would move the new tires would go on the front axle, while the old tires would be on the back axle, regardless of which ones actually went bad. Because when I'm backing into construction sites, I was constantly getting nails and various puncture holes in the tires. And the back tires always seem to take more abuse. The back tires always seem to take more abuse than the front ones. So I always put the older tires in the back. Those are the ones that had all my plugs and all my tire slime and everything else in them. Because they took so much more abuse. And then when those tires are no longer salvageable, I would then take the front tires, rotate them to the back, and the new tires would go up front. It worked good for me for a lot of years. All right, I was just looking at this. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Could be difficult, kind of like me looking through it with sunglasses. But right here, I'll try to turn it. You can see it pulled away. The weld broke and took a little bit of the metal, but it was welded the whole way around. And for the most part, this entire piece is not fazed by it. So that tells me they didn't have very good penetration, because it even broke the weld off here without breaking the metal. So whenever they did this, it wasn't hot enough. Alright, still needs to be cleaned up. Get you square there. Still needs to be cleaned up. And they're not great welds. That one's especially horrible. But it's at least glued together. Alright, I've just moved you underneath because, for lack of better words, see what you're looking at here. Yeah, this is horse shit. I try not to swear on this channel. I intentionally try not to swear on this channel. But as of right now, this whole thing has got me seriously miffed. See this? Doesn't look that bad, does it? In the camera? But wait, there's more. I don't know what Bremar is thinking or what they're doing, but literally, as I said, this trailer is less than 5 years old. It's got more rust on it than a 1980 Subaru in the Rust Belt. If I gave this another 2 years, I probably could have seen through my bed. I will never, never buy another powder-coated trailer like this again. This is just completely unset. Oh, wait, let me see. Oh yeah, oh, this is beautiful here. Watch this. I'm gonna need more rust paint. A lot more rust paint. Oh yeah, oh yeah, right there. Oh yeah, that's the spot. Yeah. Welcome back. It's actually been 2 days since I got onto the trailer here. One of the reasons is, well, lawn need to be mowed, and well, I wasn't going to show that. It's not like it's a one of those tall grass, worst yard ever seen ones. It just needed to be mowed, so I had to mow it. And then, you know, naturally I had to take a day off. I just needed a break. So basically had a day that was nothing but chores and relaxation. But we're back on the dump trailer that looks like it has poison ivy in calamine motion. Anyhow, just to one of the things I was doing in the last 2 days, I was looking at something that might be coming up. I'm happy about it, actually excited if it goes through. But the other thing was I was scrounging up what I had for paint over at my sister's place that she's been storing for 5 years now. Thank you, sis. As well as had to grab some from the store. So we'll start with what I had. I'll grab a better label one. I had about 3.5 cans of this VHT epoxy paint. This is the paint I prefer to paint stuff with. It works exceptionally well, holds up exceptionally well. I have a tendency to give it runs, but it is what it is. The other thing I grabbed is undercoating, rubberized undercoating. I had 4.5 cans of that at my sister's. The reason I'm grabbing that, I think a lot of the reason why the powder coat failed is because it's not flexible. So this rubberized undercoating, I'm going to spray every seam as far as these cans will go with that rubberized undercoating in hopes of allowing it to flex so it doesn't rust out as quickly. Now, along with that, I got a couple more cans of VHT to paint the exterior with only. I'm not going to be painting the underneath or the interior with this expensive epoxy paint. I also got 2 more cans of rust reformer or primer, so that when I'm done scraping off what I'm going to be scraping next, I can spray it with the primer before I put the Rust-Oleum or other stuff on. And for the interior of the bed and other spots that the rubberized coating doesn't work with, I went and bought the cheapest paint I could find. This paint was, I think it was 98 cents or $1.20 per can, something like that. It was cheap. It was, you know, this was like $4 a can. I was able to buy 3 or 4 of these for the same cost as one of these. The reason I'm going with the El Cheapo stuff, if it doesn't spread well, I'll take the dump trailer out back and I'll shoot the can with a 22 and then wipe the paint that explodes out across the bed. And if it works, then I'll use it. I don't have high expectations for it, but then again, I don't have I'm not going to be spraying it in critical points. I'm going to be spraying it inside the bed, which I don't think I've shown you yet. That is the inside of the bed. So I just want to get some protective layer down, because if you look up there in the corners, that's not dirt up there, that's actually rust scale. So since I've long since removed anything that resembled powder coating in here, I want to go ahead and spray it down so I have some protective layer there. It's not going to be great, it's not going to be full coverage, but you know what? It's going to be better than what I have on it right now, which is bare metal. But anyhow, let me get out some of this rubberized stuff and touch up a couple spots I just realized I'd missed when I ran out of primer before. And we're going to go ahead and I don't know if we'll finish this today, but we're going to do our darndest too. Alright, you've seen the basic of what I'm going to do with earlier in the video. So I think we're going to do that whole thing that YouTube does and see how it comes out. So, and we're all done. It's not perfect, but the interior has something other than rust. The sides are back to solid. The wheels have grease in them. I did grease them. And for the most part, I got probably 90% of the rust taken care of. Paint's still drying. I'm going to leave it in here overnight because the weather is questionable. I didn't do this because, well, that's kind of had better days. Hey, it goes all the way up without touching. I'll be dang. Well, that would have made it a lot easier to do some of that painting. Maybe I'll go through with what I got left for paint and touch up these couple spots. Those spots you see aren't rust, well, unless you're all the way there in the back corner. I did miss a few spots, but it is completely painted. So I got the undercarriage rubberized with rubberized undercoating. I also did an experiment. This corner here I did with rubberized undercoating and paint. Let's put that back in. This side I just did paint. I'm doing an experiment to see what it will look like after I get running it a little bit. I'll mess with those later. But it is back up and running, and I already got the first plan for it. First plan, I'm going to take some metal up to the scrapyard. It's been a while. We got a couple different piles around here that need to be taken care of, so I'm going to load her up and get a little cash for it. So, I don't know what to say other than that. Dump trailer's back in service. Good brakes, good tires, good paint. Very little powder coating left. I won't buy another powder coated vehicle or trailer or whatever. You know what I meant. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Do the little, thumbs up button, comment if you will. If you got any questions, that's the quickest way to get a hold of us. Share it, helps us. Biggest one is like and comment though. So like and comment. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Shoot. Oh, I haven't been recording this entire time? Son of a gun.